So today we'll be talking about protesting all the way around. It's very broad. It's very general in a sense. So with everything that's been going on, like I said, and just watching the news and seeing the different things people have done, the different ways people have conducted themselves, we wanted to talk about protesting today and see how you guys feel. Now, granted, social media has been on a frenzy to the point where it's like, I can't take it. Too many opinions, nothing wrong with it, but I just know how to separate myself from the things that I don't really care to read. Too many opinions, too many uneducated people, not to say I'm some politician or historian either, but some things I feel is common sense. Some things should be said and some things shouldn't. So, of course, we posed a question on Facebook asking about, just how people felt about protesting. Does it work? Is it important? Do we think we'll see a change? Next week, will Charlotte be back to normal, or will we still be trying to make our voices be heard?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first question that I wanted to ask was kind of just real basic, like, should we be protesting? Yes or no? Because I think I told you, like, protesting really is anything that's against the norm. So, like, a protest can be standing outside. Protest can be, or they might call it a boycott sometimes, when you, like, protest the store or something like that. But anything that goes outside against the norm is a protest. And I think sometimes when people say we shouldn't be protesting or what's the protesting doing, it's not that protest altogether is bad or isn't working. I think our struggle is we don't have the right protest and we don't have the right motions in place, like
leadership.
Yeah, not even leadership, but steps. Like, what are the pieces of the protest that we're trying to put together? What's the end goal? I think that's where the confusion comes, because protesting can be good, but I don't know if we really know what we're trying to accomplish almost.
Right, and I agree with everything you just said. Basically, are we being strategic? Are we planning? Do we have, like I just said, leaders? Is anybody? Because when you do protest, I feel like there has to be leaders in a sense. Like, it can't be the whole social media frenzy. It can, now granted, because it works. You put a location, you say we're having a peaceful protest, and a lot of people come. And back in the day, it was no social media. It was just Martin Luther King was going to be here, everybody's there. Malcolm X was going to be here, everybody's there. You know what I'm saying? And it was more so them talking, the crowd listening. It was more so like an encouraging thing. I don't know if, I feel like when it comes to protesting, to answer your question, should we be doing it or not? I feel like it's a in-between answer, only because of what we have said as far as, so y'all, what we going to do after the protesting? Are we going to continue to protest? Mm-hmm. Is there a plan? Do we have people in place that's going to help try to implement some things we want, like some things we want to demand? Because it just goes so much further than going downtown, going to a park, holding up signs. It just goes so much deeper than that. You know what I'm saying?
I think the protesting part, like when there's a problem with, to me, I feel like if you want to protest, I feel like you should protest on the steps of the courthouse or at the police station, or who the protest is geared towards, because it just kind of makes more sense to me in terms of being in their face, as opposed to going to picking a random location and now we're asking the police to come out there. Like, but I also think that protesting is necessary because, a lot of things have changed in the world by protest. So protesting, really is a means to bring attention to something, but then there does have to be a follow-up action. But what I think personally is that the majority of us probably that go to protest, I don't know if they have the bigger picture in mind. So, like, with the Montgomery bus boycott back in the day, that took a year. They didn't ride the bus for a year before they determined that you couldn't segregate the bus. So it's like, are we willing to do something every day for a year? I can't say that I feel like our generation is. And I think that's the big thing. You have to be committed to it.
You have to be committed and you have to be consistent. And that's one of the bullet points when we talked about it. That's one of the things I made sure I jotted down. Like, the whole microwave oven generation that we are, everybody wants everything 1, 2, 3, and it's just kind of like, y'all can't possibly think that just because we go downtown or to a park or we're upset and we ranting and raving on Facebook or, you know, whatever, that something's going to change. It took, like she said, it took a year. It takes time for everything. Like, slavery went on for how long? You know, like, so you really have to be committed. You have to be dedicated. And we talked about this before, as far as, like, hitting where it hurts. Money is the only thing that I feel that can get attention, get someone's attention.
With the bus boycott.
Exactly, they lost money.
The majority of people riding the bus.
And if we can pull ourselves away, that's what I think. When I think protests, I think not necessarily going downtown, to be honest, because we on the news, we live, then you have people that don't even live here, some that do, rioting. It turns into a riot, and we're tearing things up. Or, you know, or you can look into Black-owned businesses. Stop doing this. Stop spending money here. Stop spending money there. And then it's like, wait, we losing business. We losing Black customers. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out a way to treat them better than we are. It's like a give and take.
And I think, like I was saying about the whole courthouse thing, I think the real, and I've said this before on here, the real problem is that the killing of unarmed Black men is not a crime. And that's only, to me, something that can be fixed in the justice system. Mm-hmm. So, granted, perfect world, if we only spend money in our communities, we establish our own everything, there's still going to be white police officers. Mm-hmm. So, because it's not, you can be racist if you want. You can be prejudiced or whatever. But just like when people get discriminated against towards a job, they can rule that was a discriminatory act and the people can sue them, whatever. That's what we're lacking with the white man killing the Black man. They can kill him and then we don't say that it was a crime at all. So it's like, people could still be racist, still judge Black men, still do it, but they need to know if they do it, they will go to jail. Right. That's the problem right now. So I feel like it's the justice system, or, you know, the system in itself, and then too, you know, the people that are elected, the judges, and all the people that are up here actually, when that case is going to trial, who's involved with that? But we can protest all day, but if they don't, if I feel some way, I'm raised in the South, I'm a white man, I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge in the favor of Black people. That's just how.
And some things it's rooted so deeply when it comes down to the ways white people may feel, or the things they just don't feel, or don't see anything wrong with, or don't mention. You know, it's been rooted in them since kids, not even them knowing. You know what I'm saying? And like you were saying, as far as like it's the justice system, that's when it goes to. I know it's a lot of different opinions about voting and stuff like that, but I also feel like if we pay more attention to the state and city elections and stuff like that, which is really where the police get judged at. You know, you go to court, they're going to go to court in Charlotte. They're not going, you know, unless it get taken to a higher level or whatever, but at the same time, it's like we have to know who we're placing in these positions to govern our city and our state.
And I also think, you know, even taking, you know, trying to take race out of it, because I saw today a white unarmed man got shot too. I think, you know, you at least want people to realize that the police are not trained good. That's like at the end of the day, you want to feel like the police need more training. Like one of my friends was a police officer. She was saying how, you know, sometimes you have to fight. Like that's just, you know, if somebody doesn't have a gun, you just fight them, you know, like type of thing. So it's almost like we're using a gun as like a net, like to just catch them. And it's like, if somebody doesn't have a gun and you're a police officer, you would hope that that's what you're willing to do, you know, or even if they had like, Steve Wilkos was on the Breakfast Club saying, even if they had a night or something, drop it, you ask them to drop it, you know, a couple of times, like it's other means to get somebody under control basically. And I think at the root of it all, you want the police to just have different protocol and different steps that they have to take before they draw their gun on somebody that doesn't have a gun. Now, if somebody has a gun, and for real, holding the gun up, that's a different situation. But these people haven't had no guns.
And even still, even when it comes to holding up a gun, you know, granted, you're putting yourself in life-threatening situations, but we've seen where they've aimed at legs or arms or shoulders, you know, to white men or women and spare their lives versus they just shoot to kill. Like, Keith Scott was shot 4 times.
And you ain't gonna sit here and tell me that with all of this going on that Black men are pulling guns on police.
Yeah, no, because everybody's scared at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody is not in a comfortable position. And to kind of like gear back just to the protesting, I know one thing that when I posed the question about protesting on Facebook, you know, the main thing that a couple of comments was saying, people was just saying, don't nobody judge. No one judges anyone for protesting. Like, if that's what you feel like you need to do, then that's what you can do, because there are certain things and certain ways people cope and grieve, because the Black community all around the world, we're really hurting right now. Like, this isn't a good thing. This is crazy to see all the time. It's detrimental to your mental and your soul. Like, it's just hurtful to continue to see these videos and things like that. And I think a lot of times we all wish we knew exactly what to do to fix it. And it's so many small ideas that everybody might have, and maybe a lack of communication and a lack of togetherness that we have, to where it's like, as bad as we want to come together, it's like something that's not allowing us to do that.
Yeah, and to your point, I don't think, like you said, people want to protest, you know, that's everybody's opinion on if that's the step they want to take. But I also think that, like, I've seen a lot of people that were protesting, talking about people that weren't protesting. And I've always felt like in the situations, you do what you can. You do your, like, everybody has their kind of niche. Like somebody may be a leader of something, and they might be the people that put it together. There might be somebody that actually showed up to the protest. There may be a small business that where the protest is that brings lunch out to the protesters. They're not protesting, but they're helping I feel like everybody can have a role, and I don't like when people just pinpoint, well, if you ain't protesting, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And I don't think that's always, you know, the way to go. Because sometimes, that's like Jay-Z and Beyonce. They give a lot of money undercover to people, but they don't be over here doing rants and all this other stuff. So it's like everybody can
do what they do in their own way.
On their own way. And I feel like the one thing we don't need to do is, if we already have a quote unquote enemy with the police, why don't make other enemies within our side about who's not doing something? Like, it's just like, don't divide the side already when we already against somebody. That just doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, it don't make any sense. And I seen a lot of that, like, if y'all wasn't downtown, did this, and it's just like, okay, so before this, what was you doing? Like, before this, as a person, what were you doing in your community? Were you going to talk to young Black men? Were you going to talk to young Black women? You know, were you putting up motivational things on Facebook that people might see to inspire? You know, what was you doing? Because the same people that's downtown for 2 hours protesting to be the same people next week talking about what Jordan's coming out, and this no longer matters.
And we got a comment that said, I think that in order to protest, we need leadership and organization, but people allow their emotions to get the best of them. And that's what I was going to say about people who may choose not to go to protest. They could be genuinely scared.
Yeah.
Because if I have a good intention, but I can't be responsible for other people's actions. So that's like the person that was down there that got shot. He didn't go down there thinking he was going to lose his life over this. So it's like, you can't really blame people who may want to do something but are, you know, scared of what other people are going to do, because they have all the good intentions, but you don't know what everybody else, what can happen down there. And that's a tough situation to put people in.
And when you say it like that, then you have the people with the rebuttal of, you know, where our forefathers, you know, they was willing to die, they was willing to do this, and it's like, that's all fine and dandy, but that whole generation was in that mindset. This ain't, no offense, I'm not putting my life on the line. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not, and that's no disrespect. That's just is what it is. I stay where I know where I can stay. I'm not out here trying to be.
Even to that point of people that would say something like that, we're also speaking on, like, when I think, like Bloody Sunday, when they tried to march to for voting rights or whatever, and the police officers fought all those people. People got hurt, but it wasn't because of what the people on the Black side did.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, when we go downtown and I act crazy, and now I'm causing somebody else on my side to get hurt, that's the problem. We don't trust each other to be in the right state of mind. That's a whole other different thing, because we already know they're the enemy. We already know who's going to be trying to come at our neck, but not the person that's on my side.
And then to go into that, as far as when the protesting turns into a riot or something angry, you know, it's mixed emotions about that too, because some people come to the protest, how I said, you never know, how we were saying, you never know people's intentions. Some people is angry. Mm-hmm. Some people are upset. Some people are hurt. Some people are there to show the compassion. They're there to show love. They're there to be there, you know. But then you do have the few that are angry, and they don't care about the side that we're all standing on, and they're willing to lash out. And it's not to go against what they're doing, because the black people, we are hurting, we are mourning, and at this point we're angry, and all you need is that one little piece of opportunity to spaz out. But at the same time, you have to think, we have to find other strategies to release, to make it more safe, not only for us, I mean, because we live here, and like that guy, like you said, 25, 26 years old, goes downtown and he gets killed. Not to say who was by or whatever, but he didn't expect that, right. You know. And at the end of the day, from what I heard, that's what made everything go insane. So it's reactions and actions to everything. I don't feel like in the beginning, though, it's always like just a all-out loot or riot. I do feel like intentions are usually well, and if it go left, then it go left. And that's when, as a person, if you feel like you need to get out of Dodge, get out of Dodge.
And we got some comments. Miss K5 said, yes, where's your consistent contribution to Empower? Jamal said, this is the way that y'all make it different. Everybody has a lane. Thank you, Jamal.
Thanks, Jamal.
And people down you for not protesting, but how many of them tune into this, which is a form of empowering each other, seriously. And yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, everybody has their own outlet in their own lane or whatever, because you might find that some people that help organize a protest will never speak publicly. That's not what they do. You know, they go out there to organize the people or whatever. And I was going to say something about the riot, but I forgot. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Another point to how I was talking about how the bus boycott took a year, and I don't know if we're willing to do something every day for a year to get a change. But, like, I think that when we talk about people getting involved with their emotions, we have to realize that, I don't know if y'all seen The Butler when they are about to do the freedom rides or something. And they do the training that where the people come yell in your face, like, you know people are going to do this. People are going to throw stuff at you to push you, to see, get you to not react. So they train them to go out there and be peaceful no matter what they do to them. And I just can't say that I see people, it's a whole nother level of restraint and vision. Because to know that right now, I'm not doing what I'm doing for right now. Like, this is going, so if you give in to them and get what you want and you die, you didn't help the cause. You can't help the cause if you're behind bars or if you're dead. So I feel like people have to have that restraint, and I just don't know if people have that.
And I really rock with that example you just used, like, because then that's where the organization came in. Like, they knew that, y'all, when we go out here, they're going to be in our face. They might spit on us. They might throw water, whatever. They're going to try to make us break ground, and we need to make sure that we're prepared. And just like back then, we need to be prepared. Like, you can't go out there. That's why things like this happen. First of all, it's a protest. Y'all know in Charlotte, if you lived here, even if you was downtown for 4th of July, that's the gear that the police officers were in. The same way they stood in front line, walking towards the crowd, pushing the crowd back, is the same things they were doing when we were in high school, downtown, just trying to watch fireworks. So it's like, don't act like you were going to go down there and not see that happening. And then everybody's like, they got on riot gear. It's like, duh. Like,
and like I said, you never know. I'm not responsible for the person beside me. That's why they down there. We don't know what y'all gonna do. Well, we love for everybody to be peaceful. Like, yesterday was better. Last night was better.
Yes,
we love everybody to be peaceful. Absolutely. But do we have to be prepared if somebody act crazy? Yes.
Absolutely.
And we got a comment. Jasmine said, right, and my dad has such a good point today. We can make a difference and start with ourselves. So many of us black families have family drama, cousins we not talking to, and people we know we got beef with and stuff. So we expect to have millions of strangers to just come together and be on one accord. Got to start with yourself.
And that makes that's real. And we got another comment. She said the protests in the 50s and 60s were organized. A lot of people down there that's protesting are just doing it to put on for social media. Peaceful and organized events I will attend.
And yes, and that's the whole thing with the emotions, I'm gonna tell you how it makes me so sad to see people retaliate against a random person. Like with I don't know, y'all seen the video where the guy gets cornered in the parking deck and he gets beat up. There's another video of somebody else getting attacked or something, and it's like we're channeling our anger to the wrong people, and it's like two wrongs don't make a right. That's just as cliche as that sounds. We can't commit another crime because of one crime. And I just feel like you can't be attacking people. It's like a protest is not an excuse for you to be crazy and just outlandish. Like, the protest has to have a goal, and there's a goal in mind. You have to act accordingly. You can't just be out here scaring people.
And we are not at all trying to say that, you know, the black community isn't angry and these things do happen. We're not disagreeing with that at all. But what we are saying is definitely when it comes down to the white man getting jumped in the parking deck, it's just kind of like, well, did y'all stop to think that maybe he was really down there on our side protesting with us? Because there were different races other than black people down there. I seen many of them, and some of them was the ones doing the loitering, the riotings, kicking in windows. So it's like at the end of the day, it wasn't just us. And you have to think about that. Everybody isn't bad. Everybody doesn't hate you. And strongly enough, every cop isn't a bad cop. It's just that just as bad cop, one cop gives bad cops a bad name. The same way go with black people. Like, just like after.
And that's what they want. They want
right.
one black person to act crazy.
Right. And then they put it on the headline. They put it on the news. Now we on CNN and Charlotte looking like we didn't have peaceful protest. Not a poetry. We had a poetry slam protest where people were doing spoken word as a protest and were just expressing themselves, being able to get that emotion out, because now it's just everybody's mad. Everybody's seeing these videos every week, sometimes in the same week. And you just getting mad and you getting frustrated and you getting angry, and it's just building up so much hate. And when you get in an environment that we are all supposed to be on one accord, you go left because of your emotions. And it just can't be like that. We got another comment. There's a lack of accountability across the board. Are you going to city council meetings? Hell, do you know when they even meet? Have you ever been to Charlotte Chamber of Commerce? Do you even do anything?
That's kind of like what some of the church leaders were saying. You know, just different. And I really think that as young people, we bring a lot to the table. Don't get me wrong. We're very creative. We're very, you know, with social media, we can operate it better than probably an older person. But there's a lot older people have that can help us, I feel like. And especially listening to like community leaders and church leaders on the news. You know, if everybody has the same end goal, surely we can try to get on one accord and not just say, nah, we doing this over here, y'all do that over there. You know, surely it should be a little bit more effort to get some type of common ground.
And I feel like it also goes into us being able to listen. Mm-hmm. Like, we know everything. Like, granted, we're a great generation. We make changes. We set trends. You know, we do unthinkable. We have unimaginable faith. We don't care. We about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, our same pros can be our cons, because those same things allow us to be on a pedestal sometimes for ourselves and not be able to come down to listen. Because the elders can really, elderly as in people, can really be more so of a backbone for us and a lead way to better off establish protest and what we should do in city hall meetings and just coming together as black people, having community events, giving us time to be around each other, to bring the love back in the community. Because at the end of the day, not to be, you know, insensitive, but we got to get it together too as a race, and we say that often.
Yeah, and another thing that really bothers me is stop talking about the people that you think ain't with it. That is, to me, it's irrelevant. If that's like me studying for a test, I'm talking about the person in my class that ain't studying. That they test. Stop. I ain't worried about them and what they doing over here on this side. If they want to study, they gonna study. If they don't, they don't. I don't need to use my studying time talking about why they not studying. And that's how I feel like, you know, people going in on Cam Newton or whatever. And back to the point of everybody having their lane. Everybody has their own experience. So I can't say that Cam Newton lying, that he ain't never dealt with blah, blah. If that's what he said he feel, who am I to say he's a liar? But also, everybody is not about that life to do so. Like, I feel like, granted, people are talented and they get put up in a position where they're ahead of people. Like, he's a talented football player and now he's on the spotlight or whatever. But that doesn't mean that
he wants to express himself.
And that doesn't mean that that's his judge. Like, that's, maybe he doesn't like speaking on, that's just like how we started this show off, saying we don't do a lot of political things. We try to keep it where we know. But this is in line with what we do. It's not as political, but it's something that needs to be discussed. And I just feel like, you know, everybody isn't gonna carry the torch. Like, that's just what it is. And we don't need everybody to carry the torch, because God forbid everybody's carrying the torch. We be saying, we need some followers.
Whole
you know,
bunch of Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah, so it's like if somebody ain't down for what you down for, keep it moving. Like,
yeah, and granted, it's understandable in a sense to if you do feel a way about people and not, but at the same time, it's just like, well, if they ain't, they ain't, and because you feel some type of way and you don't even know this person, it makes no difference, you know.
And shout out to Colin Kaepernick, by the way.
Yeah,
because everybody, my cousin had a post that said, kind of almost like the universe had a weird way of giving all Kaepernick's critics an opportunity to respond and stand with him once after he took the knee, and then all these things happened. They could come back and say, "Well, he was right," but they ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, because you can't take your words back.
Right.
You know, you can't unspeak words that you've spoken, and that's one thing I do feel a lot of people know and feel the wrong. You know, they get it. If you didn't get it, and if you didn't get it, I don't understand, but. Everybody has seen, if you haven't seen no video, everybody's seen the Terrence video. Everybody's seen the Crutcher video, him getting killed with his hands up. It's nothing, it's no reason. It's no reason for a gun to be your first method of thinking when somebody's hands is in the air. What I'm gonna shoot you with? My toes? Like what I got a gun, like what I'm gonna do? I got some magical power. You know what I'm saying? And to see these things and for people to still just be so strong. Now, I will say they strong and wrong. They ain't going back on what they say. So if I can applaud them for anything, I can applaud them for standing in what they believe in, because you got people that's right and can't even do that. Mm-hmm. So for you to be wrong and be able to stand in your position and stand firm, then not agreeing with you, but kudos to you. Because then if everybody was turning around saying something different, it'd be a whole nother deal. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, to them, who has time for that? We're not going to tamper. You know, it is what it is. But definitely shout out to him, because that's a way of protesting that you don't need he was in his own lane. He didn't ask nobody when he got to the locker room that day, are y'all down to take a knee with me or whatever. That's what he wanted to do. He wasn't looking for no sympathy, no help, no anything. That's when you in your own lane, and you'll create your own lane to put forth the message that you feel like saying. Because he also knew once he took that knee, he would get a chance to speak. And I'm sure that's exactly what he wanted. You want to get it out there. You want to let people know how you feel.
And he was taking a knee before anybody even noticed.
Yeah, he was taking a knee for a while. And it wasn't anything that people probably just thought football, he ain't ready. He probably praying. You know, people think a lot of different things. But when you see it repetitively, it's like, oh, wait. He being disrespectful. He's not being disrespectful. You protest to get attention. You protest to show that you are against. And that's what he is. And he said it himself, I'm not saying I've been through anything like this, but to see human beings going through the things that they are going through, how can you not make a stand if you have the entry and the leeway to do so?
Very much.
And speaking of, you know when somebody is doing something right, when everyone is so against it. That's one thing I will say. And while we're on the topic, coincidentally, one of my homegirls, they had, you know, Jersey Day is a lot of day on Fridays at a lot of different places. And at her job, it was Jersey Day today. And of course, a black woman wears her Kaepernick jersey. A white woman complains to the woman's manager saying that the lady needs to go home because she has on, because a lot of people just bought it, but she probably been had hers. Because she has on a Kaepernick jersey. And it's just like, you're the prime example of why this man is on his knee. Like, why do it matter?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. We talking about what he doing, but we're not talking about what he doing it for. Like, people are clearly getting shot and killed by the police. He's taking a knee. Why are we concerned about him taking a knee more than we are with the people that's dying for the police? Like, there's no way I should be spending my time complaining to my manager about what somebody got on, because I think it represents them standing up for somebody who getting killed. Because first of all, if they do, that's right. That's nothing wrong with that.
And I really like the way that he went about it. And it's an example to others that sometimes don't know what to do, that your voice can be heard when you ain't got to say nothing at all. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it's also one of them type deals, like, everything you do ain't got to be all rambunctious on the news. Like, you don't have to be a part of none of that. Mm-hmm. Because that's his own, that he's protesting. Yeah. And you can see the world, people around the world are getting on the train. Even high school, middle school kids taking knees, college, you know, it's because that's how you do it. Yeah. You fall in line, and if people want to jump behind you, then come on and join me. When Forrest Gump started running, he didn't care if anybody ran with him. He kept running. But when he finished, a whole bunch of people was behind him.
We want people. We so often scream. We want people to be role models and all this. And here's a man standing up for something that's clearly wrong in the world, and we talking about him for the same. And now we talking about Cam Newton for the opposite. It's just like, which one is it?
It's a lot. And
you got a comment?
Oh, Miss K Fife said, girl, my friend had a tailgate last week, and they're 49er fans. There were multiple white people that accused her of being a Cap supporter just because she had a 49ers jersey shirt on. And that's what I'm saying. We've been hearing his name. Before him taking the knee, he's a well-known football player. So it had no name on it, bruh. See, and that's when people go to the umpteenth level
and
to show true colors. Right, and then what? You want me to leave? And this is a whole lot 49ers tailgate, and I'm here with just a 49er shirt on?
So I have a question. So how do we feel about the rioting? Like, does anybody think, is anybody for it, get it, with it? Do everybody think it's bad? Do people think it's going to happen regardless? Is there any way to control it? What you think?
Well, I have a couple of people that commented towards that question. And one person said he doesn't blame anyone for the way that they do it, whether it be peacefully or aggressively. He doesn't condone the violence and the shooting of others, but the built-up anger is very difficult to control. They say protest peacefully, but they arrive in military armor. What does that suggest? We kneel for the anthem. No, don't do it. Access to vote. DOJ investigations show that departments are targeting African Americans. It's just an ongoing cycle. How do we not get angry?
Yeah, I think the whole with the people showing up in military stuff, it's a what came first, chicken or the egg. Mm-hmm. Like, are they in military stuff because they know people gonna get crazy, or do we get crazy
because they're in military?
Yeah, so like you don't really know, but you do have. But to be quite honest, you do have to be prepared because, like I said, I don't know what the person beside me is gonna do, and if the person did get crazy and that military person contained him, not shot him or anything, but got him, then that could help somebody out there that night. But I don't, of course I don't like it, but you can't tell people how to react, and you definitely can't tell people how to react in the heat of a moment.
And so that's what I can see,
I can see it. The reason that I don't like it is because we know how the media is gonna take it, and that's what you don't want to give them, because what happens is if there's one rioter, now it's a riot. So you don't want the media to run with it, even though the media is just corrupt anyway. But you know that's gonna be what they take and run with it. So it's kind of like, in the grand scheme of things, you don't want the attention taken away from the peaceful people.
And that's how I feel. I wouldn't do it, but I totally understand. People express themselves in many different ways, and we have a comment that's pretty long, but I wonder if it's like worth the read. While I don't necessarily support rioting, I absolutely understand it. I liken it to children having tantrums. When they are unable to adequately express their needs and feel that what they want is not being given to them, they become frustrated and throw tantrums. They may peacefully tap your leg for attention or look at you with yawning eyes only to be dismissed. It isn't until they perceive that their request is being ignored that they kick it up a notch. It isn't positive behavior, and it may or may not bring about what they want, but for the moment, they have your undivided attention, and suddenly their actions is stopped there, but I do like that, I do like that comparison, and that kind of is exactly what it is, but then it just goes even further to, okay, you had your tantrum, now what? Because that child got to sit down too, so it's like, at the same time, you had your tantrum, so now what you gonna do?
Yeah, and like
just keep having tantrums, or we're gonna make changes?
One crime doesn't justify another crime. So it's like, I would hate to be having my tantrum and break up a window or something, and get arrested for loitering or whatever. And then I can't go to the police again.
Yeah. It comes with a lot, but it's most definitely understood and not judged at all. And you see a lot of people like with different opinions about it, which is fine, because like I said, we all have our opinions, but we all have to understand that we all are not alike. And me seeing somebody getting shot on my TV might make me act and feel a way that you may not. And you may not even understand why I feel so deeply about it, but I do. You don't know anybody's past. We don't know what people are already harboring inside. Like, you don't know.
There was an important point that somebody made about the whole way that we go about these police brutality, like the aftermath, and they were saying how the police shouldn't investigate the police, bottom line.
Right.
When something happens with the police, there needs to be a prosecutor or something, that conducts the investigation, not the chief of police, Not anybody that knows another police officer like that, because that's the problem. And then we get to say, and even if they're not, you know, corrupting the story or anything, they still get to operate from from the same level of knowledge and experience of the person that committed the crime. So that's like if I'm a teacher and we dealing with a disciplinary action, I'm another teacher, I'm like, well, kids do get crazy, and sometimes, because now I'm relating to you, because I've taught kids that are out of control, but it's like, but we talking right or wrong. We're not talking about it everyday life. We're not talking about, you know, I've dealt with this before. We just talking about the fact.
What's right?
Did this person attack you? Did this person have a gun? Because when you get into with the police, then everybody got their personal accounts. They've been on the force.
And we have some more comments. One of my friends said, the riots are not okay. We focus that energy into volunteering in our community to make it better. I agree you can't control one's anger, but it's time we start being disciplined. I believe we as a community have PTSD. And one of my sister's friends had wrote a really long post, and you know, you see those long posts, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to read it. Mm-hmm. But she's a lawyer, you know, and everything she said, I knew it was going to be worth it in the end. And she basically laid out the different stages of grief, and how us as Black people have been through each stage of grief these last couple of years with all the recent shootings that we literally see with our own eyes on camera footage. And the last one was anger, and she was just saying that as a whole, that's what she feel like the whole Black community is in some way, whether you're the one rioting or whether you're protesting or whether you're at home crying or nervous about your kids. You know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to we're angry. And when people get angry, people lash out, just as the example that with the kids. And she was just saying, like, it's just, at this point, it's hard for us to even do better. Mm-hmm. Because we're so far gone with anger that we can't even, in a sense, come on one accord, because our anger is just too much. We can't even rock with each other for real, because it's just so much. It's just a lot, and it's damaging. It's very damaging. And make sure that when we be seeing all this stuff, like, try not to watch all the videos, try not to watch all those shootings and things, because it really messes with us deeper than we even think. And them constantly showing this stuff on the news, it's all very strategic, because I can't say that it doesn't affect the white community, because I'm not them, but it touches us in a different way. Mm-hmm. And you can't continue. That's like seeing something over and over again, like these people that's been killed, Terrence Crutcher's family, they keep showing it on the TV. It's like, no way their TVs are on in their house. No way that they're tapped into any media other than who's in their face, because it's disheartening, and it's hard to move past that, and it's hard to forgive, and it's hard to live.
I think you made a good point when you were talking about the grief. What reminded me of a point, my brother was saying that he thinks, you know, it's a result of Black people being disenfranchised, meaning, you know, we don't, like a lack of power being taken away from us or whatever. And it kind of goes along with, do we know what we want? We don't know. We're frustrated and angry, but we don't know what we want per se. We know we don't want this. We know this is wrong. We know we're tired of dealing with this, but we don't know necessarily what we want. So when you don't know what you want, you can't really focus or channel your frustration into getting anything done, because you don't have an end goal.
We got a comment that says you get desensitized, which I strongly agree with, because for some, it, like myself, I just don't watch it, and it's not because I'm insensitive, because I don't want to hurt. And for others, it just became the norm, almost like in communities and neighborhoods where a lot of shootings and stuff go on. Those little kids, they don't care about when they see somebody get shot. Lil Ray Ray got shot on the corner. It's just like they can go home and go to sleep. Versus me, if I see somebody get shot, I'm traumatized. I can't take it. But it's getting to the point where either it's too much not in a good way, it's too much and you still feel humane, or it's too much and you just feel like you don't belong and you don't care. And either way, either side is not good. It's just not okay. And we just really have to, almost to the point where I feel like we need therapy sessions, like community, like just community love time, like just to where we really can feel something different than what we see all the time. Because we've always been portrayed as bad people. On the news, you don't hardly ever see anything good about Black people. It's always a certain picture that they paint for us to be these certain type of people, and then to see these quote-unquote certain type of people getting murdered in the street, and to see the people that's doing it every time practically walking away and getting paid for killing us. It's a lot.
We have a comment that says, and I think that's frustrating part because no one person has the answer. Like at this point, there's not one perfect answer, and if it is, no one has it. And that's what I was gonna say too. Well, you took the words out of my mouth, but like a lot of people say, it's a lot of talking about it, but what are we doing? And blah blah. And I think that's a little bit of a harsh statement to make because this is a very complex issue. Like, we're not talking about I live in an apartment complex and there's a white man that keeps killing the black kids in my neighborhood. This one white man is killing these black kids, and we got to figure out how to get him out the neighborhood, and we just talking about it. Because that's something you can pinpoint here. We're talking about everywhere. We're talking about an organization. We're talking about different instances, different locations, all these different things. And to me, it's not one answer, and it's not going to be done overnight. So we can't fault people who don't know what to do or are trying to do something that may not be working because everybody's confused. We're all more alike than we are different. I say that all the time. But I think it's like, I kind of like, compared to if your house burns down, say if your house is burning down and you move, if we were to move that scene in slow motion, so many things are running through your mind. Do I go get my kids? Do I go grab this? Can I get out this door? Can I do this? But at the end of the day, it's going to burn down.
And you still don't have the answers.
You don't have the answer, but you're trying to get out. You're trying to do something. You're not going to stay there and die and burn to death, but you don't know what you're going to do. And there's a lot of things to think about. It's a lot of working pieces of the puzzle. And I think we're not going to sit here and say, she's so dumb. Why she go to that room and get her picture when she knows that's her favorite sweater? Like, we can't sit here and talk about what she should have did and what. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of pieces to it. And it's just like, again, don't be on the side of against police brutality, and then amongst that group of people, we against the people in there because they doing something different. I'm against. We don't need to create a divide on the side that's against the police. That just is like crazy to me.
Makes no sense. And I had something to say, but it left me. Something when you were saying something, but I don't remember.
Miss K5. Oh, I have a get it off your chest with my kids every day. Get it off your chest. It's systematic. That's good.
Yeah, and that's important. These things should be, we should be having conversation about this off the computer. Now, granted, sometimes the computer can be very therapeutic, but if you're looking at the wrong stuff, it doesn't help at all. Like, I really feel like family-wise, you should be sitting down with your kids, with your mother, with your father. Like, this is dinner. This is what we need to be talking about at dinner. We've had these talks before because just like anything, a lot of stuff start at home. And if you have a certain type of attitude, it trickles down to your kids. And those things are the same ways that they act. Flip side to the white community. If my parent is a certain type of way, maybe it'll rub on me because she like that and I don't feel anything wrong with it because those are my parents and they know and they're teaching me.
And we said, like you said, we had talked about that before, about talking at the dinner table because my dad we used to talk about everything. My daddy made us watch Roots when we was like 7, whatever. We talked about stuff on a day, stuff we probably couldn't even really understand at the time, but now that's how my family is. In our group chat, I don't think we talked about anything else other than police brutality, really lately. And it's like, you have to kind of create that environment because one thing my family pointed out to me when I was younger is that white people, adults, they have conversations with their kids about life, like whether it's about finances, whether it's about school, whether it's about news, politics. Those kids are raised thinking on an adult level or being aware of other things. That's why when we talk about young people that may be racist, that's because they sit at the table with their parents and they have their parents' viewpoints. And that goes the same with wealth. When black people don't establish wealth, white people are having those finance conversations at the table. When they going through with their wife or whatever happened, the kids are there. And we don't have that type of communication in black families, in general. But, I know we sat down to eat dinner every night and we talked about stuff and what was going on in the news and what happened today. Granted, we go like, Daddy, we don't want to talk about that.
But it makes sense.
And it's like, and you have to start that conversation and we thought my daddy and my aunt was crazy for always talking about black people and black communities. We like, y'all always talking about black communities, like laughing at them. And now look at us. That's what we talking about even more so, like now.
And it's still not, I just really encourage the conversation. And which shout out to Pierre Javon that actually was the one to initiate, like, we should do this today. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought about it, but then on the other side, I'm like, well, we don't really.
And we didn't know what angle to go.
Right, we didn't know which way to approach it, and we really wish we knew a person. And then
it's like, with so much going on, you don't feel weird posting something else on social media. Like, I don't even want to talk about something else because it's just like, it's just not relevant.
We have a comment that says, you're doing your part when you check on your neighbor. When you empower someone else, their life exists beyond their circumstances. When you model peace and love and integrity in your day-to-day life. Yes, and even being positive can be a protest. Yeah. Like, I'm against any negative energy. So everything I say, I'm going to make sure I see any black person I see today. I'm going to make sure I see them and tell them their life matter. Not a black life, but your life. Make it personal. Your life matter. I love you. Smile. Have a good day type deal. Because sometimes, even then, the uplifting of our community, that has to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of things, there's a lot of factors and a lot of things that go into it. And to be great on a wider scale, we have to be great together.
Mm-hmm. And I just think people just have to be more understanding that everybody doesn't know. I mean, really nobody knows. Nobody has answers for it. But, everybody doesn't know what to do. They're doing the best they can. And if you can relate to them, then, yes, love is the gag. Shout out to Keke Palmer. As cliche as it sounds, like, we just more alike than we are different.
We are.
Just so true.
And it's just so sad that we are so alike and we tear each other down. Like, basically, when you tear somebody else down, you tear yourself down because we are so much alike, y'all. We go through so many things. We all feel in some way, how do we protest? How do we do something different? How do we make a change? These are all things that we are all thinking about in this time.
Everybody knows a black man.
We all know somebody black. We have fathers. We have brothers. We have uncles. We have nephews. We have cousins. We are all scared. We are all worried. We are all concerned. We are all sharing these same emotions. And in the same sense, we can still tear down each other. Like, that don't make sense. We really have to know and find our groove, which really we all groove together real nice if you really want to know. It's just important before you try to protest, make sure you right. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be the one protesting and then.
Yeah, shout out to the protesters in Charlotte that have been protesting for a while because that was one thing I said when they first said there was going to be a protest.
Because people
have been protesting as long as Black Lives Matter has been around. Mm-hmm. It's been stuff going on. Granted, it hit home this week, so it got more crazy, but I don't want to negate the people that's been out there kind of dedicated to it.
Because some
of the people that got caught up in the hype or maybe knew the person or lived on that side of town really just got all in their feelings and went out there and maybe caused the negative attention that we've been seeing.
And they definitely been doing this. I remember Sandra Bland, they did it. Freddie Gray, like hashtags that had went viral. They had been at Marshall Park and they've been protesting and peacefully. And it goes to show that whoever those people are, we need to get with those people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And we really need to have some sit downs and we really need to talk and organize because they figured it out all these times. And I'm sure that their protest even this week was peaceful. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it was because you figure it out, whether it's homeland or far away. When you have a plan, you are implementing that plan to work, period.
And if you don't know, there's a curfew in the city now for midnight. So you can't be out. I mean, nothing going to be open anyway. So you're not going to be able to be at a restaurant or a club party. You can only be traveling from work or to the airport, basically, if you're going to be traveling.
And speaking of that, just to get it off my chest real quick about the club scene and stuff, I seen people mad because they can't go to the club tonight. Like, that's a part of the problem. Mm-hmm. Because in the same sense, y'all probably were the ones saying people was wrong for not protesting, but in the same mouth, you mad because of what the protests have caused, and you can't have fun. Like, Terrence Crutcher and Keith Scott, they ain't having fun. They family ain't having fun. They family ain't at the club. And if you want to feel as one with people, then feel as one with people and go through it. Sit at home. That's the problem. We need to sit at home. We need to be in the house. Y'all go to the club every weekend. Sorry if you're not making your money tonight, but there's things that's bigger than you. Mm-hmm. It's things that's bigger than you.
Which is what I was saying about the year bus boycott. I can't see majority
Definitely
of
can.
Black people boycotting anything for a year. It took almost 13 months, I think, for them to get the desegregation of the boycott of the bus system. Like, I don't know if we dedicated to that.
And honestly, if one night throw you off like that, you need to get yourself together.
Mm-hmm.
If you depending on one club night to not mess you up, you need to get yourself together.
Basically. But that's all.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to get that off my chest at the end of the conversation. But if you are with the protest, I'm sure there'll still be protesting tonight and throughout the weekend. Please be safe. Please make sure that you guys are home by midnight. And if you aren't the ones that's protesting, however you protest, stay in your lane and don't be discouraged that people are downing you for doing exactly what you should do, which is stay in your lane.
Yeah, and yes, just all of that. Stay in your lane. And shout out to the free hugs, man.
Yes,
he's been doing a lot of great things for a while.
To the point where it's like actually something that he's inspired me to want to do. Like, I legit want to go downtown one weekend with a sign, with my blindfold, and just stand with my arms out. I feel like that's peace. It's peaceful. And the first time I ever seen one of his, I feel like more white people came up and hugged him than anything. One of the ones I watched. Mm. This man wasn't the same free hug.
No, it's not the same.
Though.
I think it's a couple of them.
Yeah, this guy though.
But okay, so the quote of the week or the day, quote of the week.
Quote of the day.
It goes with what we said. We're talking about today, and it says, "Don't let your current disappointment blind you from your future vision." So we talked about this in church, of course. Shout out to PG, Road to Damascus. That sometimes we get caught up in what's not going right now, and we can get really down on ourselves, and we lose focus on the bigger vision. And sometimes, out of 5 things, only one thing didn't go the way you want, but we're focused on that one thing. Maybe those other 4 things are going to help you get to your vision, and they're just as important, but you're almost not as grateful as you should be that those 4 things went right. That's in life, like with a job, anything you're trying to get done. But in terms of the protest, I think when I was talking about not being in your emotions, we have to think further than today. Like right now, what am I doing this for, and what do I hope to accomplish? You can't be about so angry that, you're lashing out at the police officer or other protesters, fellow protesters. You don't want to do that because at the end of the day, that's not the battle. The battle's not between the person beside you. There's a whole bigger battle going on in the world, not just in Charlotte, in the world. So it's kind of like you have to keep that vision in your mind so that you don't get, overwhelmed or caught up in the disappointment of the right now.
And I agree with everything she said. And the only thing I want to add to it is that's why you should write it. You write it down. So even if in your mind you forget, you still have it somewhere where you can see it. And when things are written down and visual to you, and you can recite them back out loud to yourself, it's a reminder. When nobody else is around to remind you of your own vision because it's yours, you have the opportunity to be like, where that piece of paper at that I wrote A, B, C, D down? I need to read that to myself. I need to remind myself. I need to bring it back. And it just really helps you stay headstrong and stay focused. And I think that's really important in anything in life, and especially today is very relevant to us and our generation in the world and the change that we want to see.
Whew. Yes.
Today was as great as we expected. Pierre Javon made it. We appreciate y'all. Like we said, y'all be safe over the weekend. Oh, wait, hold on. We got to wrap it up. We got a comment. That sounds like my devotion for today. So often we focus on what the devil is doing and saying he's so busy, but think about all God is doing and even things you can't see. Just as simple as God could have prevented you from getting a flat tire this week. Kind of unrelated, LOL, but wanted to share. It actually goes into it because, like Pierre Javon said, it's good things happening in spite of the bad. It's good things happening.
Yeah, if you made it home safely after a protest and somebody didn't, that's a good thing.
Because somebody didn't.
Legit.
Honestly. So, y'all be safe. Y'all be easy. We love y'all. We'll be back in 2 weeks to rock out with y'all and back to some laughs and some joys, hopefully. We love y'all and we appreciate y'all for supporting us. Post, tell your friend, tell your mama and them that it's Fair Game Friday. I'm Nelly P.
I'm Pierre Javon.
Life is not fair.
But we are.
Hey.